Okay. So there's a little bit about your energy. What other questions did you have, Mike, that we want to look into?
Um, I don't know if it's something that's askable, but like health wise, I feel like I'm always terrified that something is like, well, I'm dying. If I get a cold, I'm dying. If my arm falls asleep, oh, it must be a stroke or something like that. Like I overreact for everything, and like, is there something I really need to look out for, or should I, relax a little bit?
Okay. So what your body is reacting to and what that anxiety is based on comes from past life dyings and illnesses. So let's look into that a little bit. Okay, so I told Mike before, but I don't know if he caught it because I was sort of giving him high information, but I told you that you represent the divine male. The divine male means someone that has come into this life that is very open to spirituality and metaphysics, that represents the light. You're an older soul, and you're here to assist with the shift. The shift means all the changes that we're going through that hopefully in the other end are going to come out, everything's going to come out positive and more equitable and loving for all. Part of your job coming into this life is to assist others in that. You are a light worker. You don't yet have the tools for it, because when I've talked to you about certain things, you allude to things that really help me hone into what makes me think that you are a light worker and you are supposed to help people on a broader level. And you do, and you're going to do that more. But this anxiety, this feeling that you get has to do with past life dyings. And you got a lot of them because you got a lot of past lives. But there's a constant theme of you going to bat or war or battle for something that you really believed in and then it didn't go well for you. Also, past lives of as male and female, which we all have, as well as black, brown, gay, whatever the choices are, we've all been them. And so doesn't it make sense to just be cool with all of it? But anyway, you have a history of past life dyings where you were killed for what you believed in, where you went to advocate for a cause or a person, a group, a country, and you were killed for that. A lot of light workers have past lives where they were killed in really icky ways just for their beliefs. Think about like the Salem witch trials and stuff like that. Now, those lifetimes, those deaths, a lot of them were about dark meeting light. And even though you represented light in most of them, because we've all represented dark too, it didn't fare well for you. What you need to keep in mind this time around is you don't have that. You don't have anyone that is going to try to kill you for your belief system or the words that you say. And so when you start to feel the anxiety, like, oops, I feel trepidation about going out and doing this, or something bad's going to happen, whatever, just try to think, oh, you know what, that comes from my past life dyings. It comes from past life trauma that stays with us lifetime after lifetime until we clear it out, if we can clear it out. And so you don't have to worry about that so much in this life. So just see those anxiety times as, oh, this comes from another place. But taking it one step further, let's say you have a fear of, driving. So you may look at that and say, okay, I recognize there's past life dyings that could come into effect here, and this is why I have this fear or anxiety. But now I'm in this life, this 3D existence. I can't go on with this fear and anxiety. What is that coming from? And a lot of times we could trace it back to our youth and our childhood. And so what you have to remember, Mike, is that what you were raised around and who raised you doesn't wear the pants anymore. They're not in charge anymore. And you can make decisions. You have free will without anyone hurting you or making you feel bad or, taking away your money or whatever it was that happened that made you feel a little bit anxious. So just see it as this has to do with my past life, dyings, past life business, or what is it in this lifetime that created this? And then realizing that you've got divine protection around you. You've got angels and the universe that is just your cheerleader and wants to work with you. And so in conclusion with that idea, this was up for me recently when we went to the Bay Area the other day. I know I really get on Ray's nerves because I'm just like white knuckling it the whole way, and I'm saying, "Don't you see that?" And he's like, "Yes, I see it," and he's getting kind of hyper at me and everything. So I promised myself that I would look at this fear and anxiety and deal with it head on, because that's what I tell other people to do. And I white knuckled less, but it was still something that was there, and so that just tells me that's something that I have to work on. So knowing your fears helps you develop your intuition. Remember, we talked about fear and love being the main things, the main emotions that drive us. So noting those things that cause fear and have a plan to move past it. That plan might be, I know that I have divine protection around me. I'm just going to relax. Also, visualize before you do the thing. Visualize step by step what you're doing and that it has a positive outcome. And little by little, you can tackle that anxiety and fear, because that's something that's from your past. You don't need to bring it with you in this life. Nobody's going to hurt you in this life the way past lives ended for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That just gave me some direction kind of to go to deal with that, because I feel like it happens a lot.
So that I get is just your big lesson in this life is trust. Trusting yourself, trusting the vehicle that you're in, trusting that when you go from A to B, it's going to be okay. In fact, you're kind of needed. You, I hope, can welcome putting yourself out there, because where you go, you can help fix things.
Yeah, so I feel like that's definitely been my professional path, so I'd like that to be my life path as well.
I also get for you, Mike, that it's time for you to start collecting medicine. Oh, I didn't bring my medicine bag with me, but what that means is, and I give homework when I do a reading. Not that people always do it, but your homework would be, you need to go out by yourself in nature and walk. And pay attention to the things that are crossing your path. Is it a butterfly? Is it a lizard? It means something, and I can go over that with you when you're done. But it's time for you to start collecting medicine. That means little personal tokens that empower you. Now, they're just little physical objects. It's not like it's really going to save your life. But by collecting medicine, these things that are sacred to you, it empowers you. It helps you hone into symbols, symbolism, and synchronicity. So, see if I've got any around here. I cleaned up really thoroughly, so they're not here. Oh, okay. So this is one of my medicines that I use. It comes from these $10 lights that I bought about 30 years ago, and they come like 10 on a string. And I got it because that's my Granny Beth. It looks exactly like my Granny Beth. And so when I travel, I'll bring one with me. I only have 3 left, but I leave them in places that are really sacred. For example, I left one at the grave of William Blake, one of my idols. And I left one at the grave of Modigliani after I was done cleaning it up. It was really messy. But anyway, this is part of my personal medicine. If I had my medicine pouch here to show you, inside would be a dolphin tooth that my dad gave me, a little Mary, the mom of Jesus, thing that my granny gave me, a little rock wrapped in copper from Sarah. So little tiny things. And it's just in a little pouch given to me by Sarah. And when I do travel long distances, I wear it and tuck it under my
interesting.
My clothing. And what that does is it helps me when I'm feeling nervous, like, oh no, the plane's taking off. Oh, there's turbulence or whatever. Or there's a smelly person next to me. Whatever it is, just by noting that that's there, it grounds me. It's my personal medicine that connects me with spirit, with my higher self. And so it's time now for you to start collecting some of your personal medicine. Some will be given to you. Some you just find when you're out walking.
Nice. I like that. I kind of do that a little bit, or I used to do that. Like I went on a trip to Washington to meet my dad, and I was walking the river, and there was literally just a really smooth rock. And it was like, it's not worth anything. It's not anything special. It's just a rock. But I picked it up and I brought it all the way home. I'm like, I'm going to keep this because it stood out to me and it felt important.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I didn't know why, but I was like, I'm going to keep it. So I still have it.
Oh, okay, so try your pendulum with it. When you go home, practice your yes, no, and then say, is this a good rock for me?
Right. That's true. So thank you so much for my reading. That was really useful, and I will be doing the homework, and I'll update you. You know, we chat a lot about that. But I know you've been going through a learning journey as well. What kind of things have you been learning recently that's out of your comfort zone? Because I know I've been helping out with a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you want to tell people about your business and stuff.
Everything technology. I don't even know how to turn it off. Mm-hmm. And I really mean that, everything that has to do with technology. So I guess there's so many things that I'm learning right now that's way beyond my pay grade. For example, cosmology, or the myths behind celestial bodies, the myths and legends behind astrology. Also a lot of the science. When this James Webb telescope came online, that was super exciting. Mm-hmm. That was super exciting because I knew that it was going to start to suggest and allude to certain quantum aspects that are part of the metaphysical world. When I said a year ago or so, when I stood there and said, I am ready to open up my consciousness, show me what I'm supposed to do next. How can I learn and grow and be happy but be of service to other people? That's when I started to see things in a much different way. For example, the first thing that I noticed was when I was out taking care of the garden and my tortoise, the parts that are golden or yellow on the tortoise were brighter. I started noticing when I was looking at certain plants that there were vivid colors, that there was movement and energy coming from other living things like the animals and the plants that I hadn't quite perceived in that way before. And then I had an experience a few months ago in London where I was standing on a bridge. It was a beautiful, sunny day, and I was standing there feeling guilty about poor Ray being home taking care of the animals, and I'm there having this fabulous time. And I looked up and I said, thank you. I am so grateful for this opportunity. I can't believe what I get to do. But I do want to be of service, and what do I need to know next so that I can proceed? And I looked up, and this is going to sound crazy, but when you open up your consciousness, stuff happens. And I saw what I describe as crystalline structures, crystals coming down from the sky. And really what that was is we're kind of at a place with the sun where there's a lot of what do you call it? Like explosions that are coming off of the sun that can affect us and our technology and stuff like that. And so I can rationalize and say that that's what I was experiencing, was just a more intense energy coming from our sun. But it seemed to come with what I call a download, which means being given information that I didn't have before, where certain things were clarified. And also not a warning that was coming, but, and this always happens when I travel and I have moments like this alone. There was kind of the information, the download that I got was, when you go back home, or even when you cross this bridge, the way you interact is going to change. The way you perceive things is going to be different. So stay open to that, because remember, you have love and light and all that. And so at that moment, when I had already experienced the colors changing, being so vibrant and almost moving and alive, and then what I perceive as these crystalline structures or strong light rays from the sun, carrying downloads of information, kind of made me realize, well, what's next for me to learn? What does this mean? You know, what am I seeing? And so that's when I started really studying cosmology and getting a little bit more into some of the physics involved. And so those are some of the things that I continue to learn. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to do the reading and letting everyone know a little bit more about yourself. And then you can go ahead and do an outro if you like.
Okay. So I hope to put myself out there in more ways. I would like to start teaching an online class in addition to in-person classes, and I'm calling it Psychic Awareness 101 with Tammy the Psychic, and it's going to include things like developing your natural psychic ability, learning about your chakra system, learning to run your energies, your yes-no vibration pendulums, meditation and visualization, and I also gear my classes for the individuals. So if there's 5 people in the class, I'm pretty good at knowing exactly where each person is and where they need to go next. So I'm going to be putting myself out there in that way, and then one day perhaps a live stream, and that's what I look forward to, is to being of service and broadening my skills.
Awesome. So they can like and subscribe on YouTube, on Facebook, and at your website, which is?
My website, TammyThePsychic.com.
Awesome. Yeah, be sure to check it out, and see you guys next time.
Thank you kindly for tuning in. Thank you, Mike, for helping out today. Blessings.